Welcome again to Oklahoma Sports Scene, your weekly statewide show featuring interviews and special features on sports. And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Take a look at the lineup now for our guests for this week, and it's a good one. Barry Lewis, the man, of course, who is high school writing in this part of the country, Tulsa World's director and editor for high school sports. He'll be on to talk about the 2022 regular season of high school football that just wrapped up. Look ahead to the first round of the state playoffs. Mike Moore will join us, the former Oral Roberts University Major League Baseball pitcher, a World Series champion. Some interesting stories about the World Series. He was involved in the Earthquake Series in San Francisco and made some history there with a big base hit. We'll show you that as well. Justin Barkley joins us on the set from Rogers State University, Hillcats men's basketball head coach. Had great success up there. Going to preview their new season here coming up. Just getting underway. The tournament coming up at Rogers State. Talk about that as well. FC Tulsa. Their season is wrapped up, and their president, Sam Doerr, is going to be joining us again here on the set. Talk about the past season, look ahead to next season, a new coach, a lot of new changes here for FC Tulsa. He's made it clear his goal is bring championship to the city of Tulsa and sell out crowds to One Oak Field. So Sam Doerr joining us. We'll also chat a little bit about the World Cup, greatest event in sports, coming at the end of this month here in Qatar. Also, hot topics to talk about now. Let's take a look at some of those for you. We'll start with a little surprise there at the University of Kansas. They have suspended their Hall of Fame head basketball coach, Bill Self, for the first 4 games of the season. Of course, Bill also coached here in Tulsa at Oral Roberts University and at TU. For the first 4 games of the season, Bill Self will not be on the Jayhawks bench. They'll also impose some recruiting restrictions. It's all tied to that crazy 5-year-old FBI investigation into college basketball, hit up some of the big schools, including KU. And Bill says he's accepting that 4-game suspension. We'll see what happens after that. Big 4 football, let's forget about last week, huh? For the first time in, 8 years, something like that, all 3 of our teams lost on the same Saturday. Oklahoma, of course, outscored by Baylor at home. Oklahoma State, with all the injuries they had, couldn't stop anybody up in Kansas. They lost that game. And the University of Tulsa, desperately needing a win, really against a very good Temple nationally ranked team, couldn't outscore them as well. So we got shut out, and Arkansas then lost to Liberty as well. So a bad weekend of college football this past weekend. So we look ahead now. Here's the lineup coming up this week. It starts actually Thursday night as TU is on the road playing at Memphis. Memphis 4-5, Tulsa 3-6. Do the math. Tulsa has to win the last 3 games of the season to try to get bowl eligible. Big task, but wish TU all the best against the Tigers on Thursday night. That game on ESPN, by the way, again at 6:30. Then the Saturday slate starts at 11 in the morning with Oklahoma, at West Virginia. The Sooners 5-4, still 1 win away from becoming bowl eligible. West Virginia, terrible team. They're 3-6. 11 a.m. that game is on FS1. Also at 11 a.m. on ESPN, LSU, ranked number 7, coming off that great victory over Alabama, where they scored in overtime. They went for 2 points, beat the Crimson Tide, moved to number 7 in the rankings, 7-2 on the season. They'll be at Arkansas. The Hogs also 1 away from bowl eligibility. They are 5-4. And at 2:30, the Oklahoma State Cowboys are home in Stillwater. They'll be hosting Iowa State. Iowa State 4-5, Oklahoma State 6-3. Cowboys open actually as a 1.5-point underdog on their home field against Iowa State, mostly because of all the injuries, all the question marks. Who'll be at quarterback? Who'll be on the line? They've just been decimated by injuries this year. Been a tough season for Coach Gundy. Only 4 teams remain unbeaten in all of college football after this 11 weeks of the season. They are the 1 through 4 in the AP Top 25 poll, and including Big 12 leader TCU 9-0, now up number 4 in the polls. How about that? TCU, not OU, not Texas. The Horned Frogs are number 4 in the nation. Tulsa Ice Holders update for you. The hockey team remains unbeaten at home this season. 4-1 over at Wichita this past Saturday night. Then they went to Wichita on Sunday, lost in overtime there. The 2 teams keep playing each other. They'll play again this Friday night at the BLK Center, and that's a special tribute to veterans as well on November 11th. So get on there and support the Oilers and, of course, all of our veterans. That puck drops at 7:05 there. Reminder, Oilers season group tickets on sale. Just check in on their website to get all the information. College basketball season tips off. Our state schools are playing basketball now this week. Started Sunday night here. The scores from OU and OSU both playing at home. Also scores of our 2 teams playing on the road, while TU and Oral Roberts University played out on the West Coast. Thunder update off to a 4-5 start here on Monday, November 5th. They're led by their guard Alexander, averaging 30.5 points a game, 6th best in the NBA. This week, OKC is at Detroit, taking on the Pistons, former OSU Cowboy and #1 NBA draft pick, Cade Cunningham. Then the Thunder come home for 4 games this week. Against Milwaukee and Toronto, then move Sunday to the Madison Square Garden, take on the Knicks on Sunday morning. Big week in sports. We're going to start with Barry Lewis, talk about the high school football season, that incredible Bixby-Jenks game, and look ahead to the state playoffs. Straight ahead on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Glad you're with us.
We're saying thank you, T-Town, for voting us Tulsa's best with $250,000 cash at Hard Rock Tulsa. Join us Fridays and Saturdays in November to be one of 24 players to win $10,000 cash. Earn entries daily at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa. Tulsa's top spot for a good time awaits you. Come experience award-winning entertainment and nightlife. Escape and relax. Savor every bite. Then bring it all in for your encore. Only at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa. Voted Tulsa's best.
The Tulsa Oilers are back on the ice. With a new owner, a new look, and a new attitude. Save big on season tickets today. 2022-23 season. Tickets starting as low as $17 per month. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers are back.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine-in, curbside, or carry-out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
What happens when Rumble of the Oklahoma City Thunder takes on the two fellas in a big vehicle team on the court? They should leave it to a professional. And when it comes to moving the Thunder and all of Rumble's stuff, he should leave it to the professionals.
We got this. Let the pros from two fellas take it from here.
And we welcome you back to Oklahoma Sports Scene here at the Billy Sims BBQ in the Farm Shopping Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Good friend Barry Lewis joins us here. He is the man when it comes to high school sports. I still can't believe the regular season is over in football, Barry.
It goes by fast, doesn't it?
Gosh. But what a way to end it, though. That was some kind of showpiece for Oklahoma high school football, ESPN national television on Bixby and Jenks. What a game.
It was, and as you said, it was just a great showcase for Oklahoma high school football. Weren't many turnovers, weren't many penalties, just a lot of great action, an exciting game that wasn't decided until the end. And of course, Jenks comes up with the big win in the matchup of the defending state champions.
That's right. 58 in a row. What an incredible run for Coach Montgomery and his Bixby Spartans. Did it surprise you? A lot of people thought, oh gosh, Bixby just keep rolling, but Jenks has come right at the right time.
Yes, Jenks. I've always felt Jenks was my preseason pick,
yeah.
And I always felt that they had this potential if they got everyone healthy, and they finally have gotten just about everybody healthy. So that's really the key. I mean, they're a different team when they have Jaden Carroll running the ball like he did last Thursday, and when Ty Walls is playing. I mean, that's just among others.
Right.
They are just a different team. Those are difference makers. And so now that they're back on the field and playing great, Jenks is really a different team than what we saw earlier this season.
Tulsa World rankings just came out. Your Union High School football team, the Red Hawks, now #1 in the state in 6A1 and undefeated.
Yes, what a regular season it's been for Union, 10-0, and of course they're looking for their first state title since 2016. That's a long drought for Union.
Wow.
The bar is high there, and it looks like they've got everything that you would need to win a state championship. Of course, Bixby, I'm not going to discount Bixby just because they lost.
That's right.
And that might just make them even hungrier. And then, of course, Jenks, they've showed that they should be included in the mix, as well as a couple of Western teams, Norman North and Mustang.
They've been pretty, Norman North especially has been pretty tough this year.
Norman North, they went over to Jenks, and that was not a fluke. Norman North looked great that night. And so since they beat Jenks, you've got to include them in this discussion.
As you look back on the 2022 regular season of high school football in the state of Oklahoma, what have been some of the highlights for you, Barry?
Well, there have been a lot of great games. That definitely was one of them. Then a game that's probably not going to get a lot of attention because it wasn't involving two playoff teams. Actually, last Friday night was a highlight, a night where most of the games had already been moved. Right. But Tulsa's Will Rogers High School was playing at home, looking for its first winning record in 16 years. They were playing Edison, which is a good team. They were looking for a 500 record. And it was an intense game, and Will Rogers on Will Rogers' actual birthday had a dramatic comeback in the fourth quarter to clinch its first winning season since 2006. And you should have just seen the celebration afterwards.
That's good.
This was their playoff game. And so that was something that's going to stand out to me.
Nice.
Even though it was two teams that aren't going to the playoffs, it was a great night of football.
How are our 9 TPS, Tulsa Public School football programs? Are they getting better?
Well, just got 8 now, since
right.
Webster isn't playing at the varsity level. But a bright spot besides Rogers this year for TPS was McLean. McLean qualifies for the playoffs with a 5-5 record, and they're not just the 4th place qualifier in their district, but they're the 3rd place qualifier. So, and when you think that McLean didn't play a home game for the last half of the season, it's quite an accomplishment for McLean. They had to win their last 2 games, of course, on the road. Those were tough opponents. Those seemed like toss-up games, and they got the job done.
Some of the key players, we've had some outstanding high school talent, of course, many of them heading towards big Division I football programs.
Yes, of course. Chance Wilson, Rejoice Christian quarterback, who's been out the last 3 games with an injury. Looks like he may be back this week for the playoffs. Yeah. He's had a great year. Of course, Micah Tees from Booker T, Washington. Although Booker T's been up and down, a roller coaster year. Maybe their best football's ahead of them in the playoffs. Then you've got DJ McKinney, the Union running back. He is, I think, really lifted himself. No one was really looking at him as one of the premier players. We all knew DJ was good after moving over from Booker T, but he has really had a tremendous season for Union. Big part of why they're 10-0, along with their quarterback Shaker Isaac, who moved over.
Just a sophomore.
Yes. Yeah. So those 2 players have really had outstanding years as well.
And now the playoffs. First round getting underway this weekend. Then the big teams have some buys and stuff. But your thoughts on the playoffs, and who do you like in the state championship games?
Well, Union and Bixby, still, I think you have to favor them in 6A1. In 6A2, Stillwater had had a statement win over Muskogee last week. And then 5A is just
another Gundy kid at quarterback,
yes,
right?
Yes, and 5A is just crazy. You've got 10 or 11 teams. Any one of them could reach the state championship game. That is such a deep class. Coweta's ranked number 1, Grove's number 2, but it's so deep that 10th ranked Sapulpa's playing at Grove this week. And I regard that as just about a toss-up game. That is just how deep 5A is. Of course, you've got Carl Albert, the usual suspects, Carl Albert and McGinnis, Collinsville, McAllister. That's another great game this week. McAllister, Collinsville, a rematch of last year's classic state championship game that was won by Collinsville.
Well, you keep all the activity. Just follow the Tulsa World and Barry Lewis. He's the guy that keeps all up to date on this stuff. And looking forward to it, Barry. Thanks again for joining us.
All right,
and
thank you.
By email, here is your special Billy Sims BBQ gift card. Enjoy it.
Love Billy Sims BBQ.
Barry Lewis, Tulsa World, none better. We have another guy you and I used to cover when we were a lot younger. Mike Moore, former baseball pitcher, Oral Roberts University, pitched in the 1989 Earthquake World Series, won the World Series championship, the Oakland A's. He's coming up next on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
You did it, Tulsa. You name the team. We name the team. You name the team. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m., BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com to get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast pace, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine in, curbside, or carry out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
We're saying thank you, T-Town, for voting us Tulsa's best with $250,000 cash at Hard Rock Tulsa. Join us Fridays and Saturdays in November to be one of 24 players to win $10,000 cash. Earn entries daily at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa. Tulsa's top spot for a good time awaits you. Come experience award-winning entertainment and nightlife. Escape and relax. Savor every bite. Then bring it all in for your encore. Only at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa. Voted Tulsa's best.
Hi, I'm Dr. Caleb Nelly with Tulsa Bone and Joint in Owasso.
And I'm Dr. Ian Goodman with Tulsa Bone and Joint in Owasso, and we are your team physicians for the Owasso Rams.
I'm Zach McGinty.
I'm Kate Grady.
I'm Destry Millsap.
And we are the athletic trainers for the Owasso Rams.
Here's some of the services that we provide in the Tulsa Bone and Joint Athletic Training Facility.
And we welcome you back to Oklahoma Sports Scene here at the Farm Shopping Center, Billy Sims BBQ. Another major leaguer joining us on the set here, Mike Moore. I covered him back in the late 70s, all right?
It was a while ago.
At Oral Roberts University.
A while ago.
Our friend Robert Taylor, of course, our Mr. Memorabilia guy. And Robert, set us up here. What made this guy so special?
First #1 overall draft pick out of the state of Oklahoma. First right-handed pitcher taken #1 overall draft pick in the Major League Baseball draft. Had a great career at ORU, and pitched in the '89 Earthquake World Series. Won a championship with the Oakland A's in '89.
I just checked. I kept looking at this number again, Mike. It says Eakley High School, ERA .005. Is that possible, Robert? I didn't even figure that low. What you had a high school record that was the best in the entire country, right?
For a while, I think it's been broken since then, but I think I had 65 or 67 wins in high school because we played fall baseball, fall and spring, no football. So I had more opportunities.
So
but that was 3 years though. You couldn't play as a freshman in high school when I was in high school.
So you at Eakley made Bigger and Johnny Bench famous, right? He's right next to you.
Yeah, that's it. They'll probably so.
You got a tie with the family too, you told us, right, Robert? With his dad? Johnny's dad?
Johnny Bench's dad used to deliver propane to Mike's parents and everything.
Yeah.
He gave you.
Well, Johnny was the same age. I'm the youngest, and then there was 5 siblings in my family.
Right.
And my oldest brother graduated the same year as Johnny. So I'm just old enough to remember watching him play in high school. I was 5-ish, 6 years old, but I was interested in baseball, and so I'm just old enough to remember watching him play.
And Johnny gave you some advice about not coming out too early to the pros, right?
He actually did. You know, he had some of his little league coaches and high school coaches lived in the Eakley area, and actually one of his summer coaches was my first ever baseball coach. And through the grapevine, Johnny gave advice. And when I got drafted out of high school, that a better route would be to go through college instead of beating around in the minor leagues, and that it was a pretty tough road. But he did pretty well. He came through there pretty quick. Pretty talented guy.
Let's get both of your guys' thoughts on the recently completed World Series. People seem to be really hyped for Dusty Baker and the Houston Astros again, beating the Phillies in a 4-2 series there. A good series.
It was a good series, I thought. I mean, it was enjoyable. I have to admit, I played in the American League for 14 years, so I always root for the American League. So I really don't care who's there, but there were some good baseball games, so it was fun to watch. I think it's a little slow, but it was fun to watch. But
Robert, your thoughts?
Happy Dusty Baker got a ring.
Yeah. Tell us some of the memorabilia you have here for.
This is a jersey Mike gave me a few years ago. I think he wore it at a reunion back at, had the World Series team back in Oakland or something, and Mike had that jersey and give it to me.
Tell us about your ORU career, Oral Roberts University. What brought you to ORU? And of course, They had a heck of a baseball program, and they still do.
Well, I mean, that was the reason why. You know, we talked a little bit before we started. You know that. I mean, obviously Oklahoma State was a powerhouse, you know, it wasn't really my cup of tea. OU, I had full rides there. You know, Texas, Arkansas.
And basketball too, right?
Basketball. I had several scholarship offers. Actually, Ken Hayes was here at Oral Roberts, and Ken Hayes would always tell me when I was here. He'd say, "Mike Moore," he said, "one of these days I'm going to see you pitching in the World Series," and I'll say, "There's that guy that wouldn't play basketball for me," and I'd always say, "Coach Hayes, I hope you're right." And so it came true. We laughed about it later over the years, but you know, the program here had just been to the College World Series, and you know, you remember it. I mean, at the time, this was probably top 5 facilities in the country.
At J.L. Johnson Field,
there was a lot going on here, and then plus I had a bond with Larry Koshel. You know, he was relatable, and plus coming from a town of 250 people, you know, Oral Roberts was a little more attractive than getting lost at OU or OSU going to college. So it was a good fit.
So these numbers, Robert, too. College baseball, 28-11 pitching record, ERA 2.64.
Wow.
That's
the reason why he went number 1 in the draft.
But you know, it was kind of interesting in those days. You know, later, as you know, Jim Brewer came here as the pitching coach, and you know, Brewer was kind of like my second dad. I mean, he always called me his $1 million baby out of Eakley because he knew a lot more how talented I was than I knew, I think. But he was still with the Montreal Expos my freshman year, and a week before the baseball season started, before he went to spring training, he completely changed my pitching mechanics.
Really?
Because I was a short armor, I was a catcher, you know, and I threw 95, just bringing it out like a quarterback, and I threw really hard. But you know, you think about it in today, everything that goes on today with all the cameras and all the video and everything. I mean, he completely changed my arm and extended my arm back a week before the season started. This wasn't in the fall; it was a week before the season started. So I kind of struggled my freshman year. I think I was 5-5 my freshman year, maybe. And actually, Larry Koshel told me I went to Liberal, Kansas that summer, and he said, "Well, I tell you what," he said, "pitch. I want you to pitch this summer, and if it doesn't work out, you'll be the starting catcher next year when you come back." Because I was a good athlete and a good hitter. Well, I went to Liberal, Kansas, and I was 12-1, and we won the national tournament. I was the MVP of the national tournament. So it kind of all clicked that summer.
14-year Major League Baseball career, Seattle, Oakland, Detroit, also in there. Again, I guess the one to talk about those, that 98 World Series. And Robert, 89 World Series. You sent me a video clip. Set this up for us.
Well, Mike got to bat, of course. You know, back then they didn't have the DH in the National League, so he got to bat, and he got the first American League pitcher to get a hit in like 16 years. I think the last one was during 76.
They said we would have been 0 for the decade had I not got that in the 89 World Series. So.
And my friend Jim, Al Michaels, working with Jim Palmer.
And Jim Palmer.
Really bragged on him, setting him up here as he got to get to the plate. Let's take a look, take a listen. And here is Mike Moore batting in the World Series for the Oakland A's.
You doubt that Robinson has a scouting report on Moore, don't you?
Has trouble with the thrown ball.
And it's hit in the air to center field, and Butler races back, and it's over his head. Henderson comes in to score. Weiss is being waved in. He scores on the first hit by an American League pitcher since 1979 in a World Series game.
Well, you know, the interesting thing about that game was the big setup was I was pitching against Don Robinson, who was one of the better hitting pitchers in the National League, and I'm actually the one that knocked him out of the game. So he never got a chance to hit in that game. So it's kind of ironic.
That 89 World Series, that was the date was October 17, 1989, forever known as the Earthquake Series, right? Mm-hmm. What was that like to be at that stadium? My gosh.
Well, you know, it was kind of interesting because we didn't really know. I remember we had TV introductions at 5:12, and I had finished all my work. I wasn't pitching, but I'd done all my work, and I'd showered, and I was getting dressed. And you know how when you're in the stadium and sometimes there's carts going over, service people, and so we kind of heard some rumbling, and then the lights went out, and somebody said earthquake, and we kind of all evacuated. We were at Candlestick, and at Old Candlestick, the visiting locker room was here, and the Giants was just across the hallway. So we kind of all went out into a parking lot, and I kind of talked. I hadn't seen Dave Dravecki. He had arm surgery again, and so I talked to Dave for a while, and then we thought we had TV introductions, and so I went in and got dressed, and I walked out to home plate, and Will Clark was there, and we started having a conversation, and then San Francisco police officer came up and told us the Bay Bridge had collapsed and the Marina District was on fire, so we kind of had an indication as to what was going on around us then.
Now, Mike, thank you for joining us. Again, Oakland was great. Again, Major Leaguers, World Series champion, and we have something for you and your bride here today. This is Billy Sims BBQ.
Thank you, sir.
And Robert, you have more Billy Sims BBQ than anybody else's. That's yours again too, buddy.
Well, thank you.
He does all the good work for us, sets us up. So appreciate it, Mike.
Good
Thanks
to
for
see
joining
you.
us here.
Okay.
Great memories of it. All Roberts University, and of course, Major League Baseball World Series champion. We're going to come right back with RSU basketball coach Justin Barkley right after this.
You did it, Tulsa. You name the team. We name the team. You name the team. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m., BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com to get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast pace, helmet hitting, pad popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
We're saying thank you, T-Town, for voting us Tulsa's best with $250,000 cash at Hard Rock Tulsa. Join us Fridays and Saturdays in November to be one of 24 players to win $10,000 cash. Earn entries daily at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
What happens when Rumble of the Oklahoma City Thunder takes on the two fellas and a big vehicle team on the court? They should leave it to a professional. And when it comes to moving the Thunder and all of Rumble's stuff, he should leave it to the professionals.
We got this. Let the pros from two fellas take it from here.
Well, the college basketball season is tipped off. We're joined now by a good friend of ours, Justin Barkley, head basketball coach at Rogers State University, the Hill Cats, and he is the basketball coach at Rogers State. How many years now, Justin?
Well, this is year 15 overall, 2 years as an assistant, and 13th year at the in the top spot.
And of course, the history of the program there.
Only 16 years old. This thing started from scratch, I think, in 07. So, the program's come a long way in a short amount of time.
And what a resume. Always had winning records, of course. The one COVID year, we threw that one out there, but took them to the NCAA tournament at large there this past season, MIA quarterfinals.
Well, it's a good season. We've had quite a bit of turnover. I've told a lot of people over the last few years, either you were catching some breaks during the COVID years or you weren't. I think we've been on the wrong side of some breaks with some injuries and just guys that are moving on because of their degrees. But been really pleased we've had a good group of young men through our program.
I know people are anxious to get out and see the Hill Cats, and you've got a tournament underway this weekend.
Yeah, big opportunity for us to kick off the 2022 season. We're actually hosting a region challenge with two teams out of Minnesota. We'll host and we'll partner with Newman University out of Wichita, Kansas. We'll open Friday night against Southwest Minnesota at a 7 o'clock tip, and then on Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. against Concordia St. Paul. So we're excited to get things started.
I don't know if those visitors have looked at your home court record. I wouldn't want to come play you here. At Claremore Expo Center, I saw a winning percentage, Coach, 82% at home.
Well, that's important. I learned at a young age, you try to really protect your home turf. Our guys have bought in and playing in the friendly confines of the Expo Center. It's kind of our home away from home. We're about a quarter mile away from campus, but our community has really rallied around us, and we've just been fortunate to find a right niche of guys that have really taken on trying to protect our home court, and hopefully we can carry that on this year.
Tell us about some of your key players who you're going to be counting on, and some newcomers maybe too.
Well, we've got quite a bit of turnover, so we're excited. We've got a young man that's coming in at the point guard position, Sherwin Devonish. He's a grad transfer from Morgan State on the East Coast. Was a 4-year starter for him, almost a 1,000-point scorer. Got a young man that's coming in from an NEI school, St. Thomas University out of Miami, Florida. that we're excited about. We've got a host of other guys as well, but we've got a few returners. Joey Sirocco's a 3-year letterman for us. That's a big man from right outside Chicago, Illinois. Jaron Jackson from Putnam City West High School that we've had. There'll be a senior as well. And we're really excited about Caden Fry. Caden Fry is a 6'7" big man from Owasso, Oklahoma, who's going to be a freshman that had an outstanding prep career that we think is going to be really flourish within our system.
How is the MIAA, the Division II, how have you been impacted, Coach, by the portal and, of course, by the name, image, likeness?
Well, I'll tell you what, that's probably the million-dollar question. The portal has gotten crazy. You know, you see teams that live in the portal. You got some teams that still go the traditional route with getting 4-year guys. We've kind of sprinkled in and out of it. Yes, we've been on the side of getting a few portal guys. We've had a few guys that's gone in the portal. From a name, image, likeness, you know, I don't think it's really got into our level quite yet. If it has, it's not something that we've really dabbled with. I think we've had a few young men that have gotten some different types of deals, but nothing earth-shattering. For us, we're just trying to concentrate on getting the right guys in here that want to understand being a student athlete.
I don't know if people understand how good the MIAA is. And I was looking at the top of that Northwest Missouri, they have been one of the dominant teams in all of college basketball.
Well, they've been the most efficient offense. I think I watched them play last night. They played down in Florida, but they've won the last 4 out of 5 national championships. You know, our conference is really stacked. It gives you the feel of a low major Division I league. I mean, our attendance in our league as a whole is better than 10 Division I leagues. So,
yeah,
you know, we transitioned from the Heartland Conference to the MIAA, and I kind of felt like I took a new job. But, you know, my office stayed the same, and we've just elevated our program.
You know, RSU took a real boost in their athletic program with that great national championship run by your softball team here, and we really had fun to have Coach Andrea Vaughn on the set with us.
Well, they've been awesome. You know, what Andrea's done for our programs, you know, just even our soccer program just got beat in the conference championship yesterday. A lot of really good things happening up on the Hill, and, you know, I think it's a credit to our administration to giving us the resources that we need to have success. And we're hopefully, you know, as softball's broke through, hopefully we can kind of open up the gates as we continue to move forward.
Can't let you get away without a little family resume. This must be the most famous sports family in Northeast Oklahoma. Barkley's, of course, I'm one of the great fans of your dad, a legend himself. Clyde Barkley, the legendary coach of the Inola Longhorns.
Well, man,
how many seasons?
I think this is year 46 or 47. I've lost count.
And Mom has missed how many games, I think?
I think it's around 5 in 45, 47 years.
God bless her.
It's unbelievable. We've been very blessed to have a supportive family. I was kind of learning at a young age. I think that's one reason I've stuck around for 15 years, but we've never moved as a family. In a business, that's what you probably do a little bit, but you know, my wife's got a pretty good job as well, so.
I was going to say, the athletic director at Union High School, boy, what a great job she does.
Well, Emily is really the backbone of our whole family. I mean, she's constantly going, and of course, having little Sutton. We've been very blessed to have family members that support what we do, both of us, and we find a way to make it work.
Tell us again about the tournament times and coming up this weekend at Rogers State University.
5 p.m. is Newman University in Concordia, St. Paul on Friday, and then we will kick our tip off at 7 to 7:30 right after that. And then on Saturday, we'll go at noon and 2, so we're really excited.
Justin Barkley, head men's basketball coach of the Hillcats at Rogers State University up on the hill. Claremont, go out and support him there. Got something for you to the show. Billy Sims BBQ.
Thank you very much.
You take your wife out for dinner, Tom.
I definitely will. Thank you very much.
Give Clyde our best. We have the coach on sometime, too.
We'll do.
One
Thank
of our favorites.
Appreciate it.
Justin Barkley, we're going to come back and talk FC Tulsa soccer and look ahead to the World Cup straight ahead.
The Tulsa Oilers are back on the ice with a new owner, a new look, and a new attitude. Save big on season tickets today, 2022-23 season. Tickets starting as low as $17 per month. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers are back.
The 2022 Remington Park Thoroughbred season continues through December 17th. Racing starts at 7 p.m. Normal weekly schedule is Wednesday through Saturday. This Springboard Mile, Remington Park's top 2-year-old race that carries Kentucky Derby qualifying points, wraps the season up on December 17th. For more information on Remington Park racing and casino gaming, visit remingtonpark.com.
My name is Dr. Brittany Els. Here at Tulsa Bone and Joint Urgent Care, we treat a lot of athletes for wrist injuries, anything from sprains and fractures, elbow and shoulder injuries. Right here on site, we have the ability to do x-rays for your student athlete. We also have the ability to put them in a wrist brace or a knee brace if needed. And we have the ability to refer them to an orthopedic surgeon for follow-up care. We're an orthopedic urgent care and we have a walk-in availability. You don't need an appointment. One of the things that makes our urgent care unique is that it is physician run. We appreciate being able to care for your student athletes.
Josie's on a vacation far away. Come around and talk it over.
Times may change, but the feeling stays the same.
Stay alive but keep it undercover. I just want to use your love tonight. Whoa. I don't want to
Live your greatest hits at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa.
This past June, our FC Tulsa Club owners, Ryan J.W. and Kyle Kraft, introduced a new president to the team. Sam Doerr joins us now on the set here. Sam, you made some statements when you first arrived here. You said your standard you want is championships at Tulsa and sellout crowds at One Oak Field.
Yeah, it was good to see you again. Thanks for having us. I think we since we got here, I think we set an attendance record. I'll have to be fact check on this, but I think 2 or 3 times in club history since then. So we, a lot of momentum at the end of the year. Obviously, fell short making the playoffs, which is our goal, but it's busy. The off season's busy. Unfortunately, it started for us a little earlier than we wanted to, but on the positive, it's allowed us to plan for next year, and we think we're going to be able to bring trophies, hopefully, to Tulsa as early as next season.
In August, you named a new head coach, Blair Gavin. Tell us something about Blair.
Yeah, Blair comes to us from Columbus Crew of MLS. He was the top assistant in Columbus. We had a lot of success together in Phoenix. He was our top assistant there. We won trophies, 20 games in a row. Great young mind. Played in MLS, played in USL, and we really wanted somebody that had played and coached in the league before. It's such a unique league. He's young enough, I think, to relate to players, but he also has now that MLS experience. So we're lucky to have him, and we're excited about next year.
That was interesting. He's already put his staff together, and it includes Donovan Ricketts, who was the interim coach, and all things considered, an 8-8-3 record, and he's going to stay on with the squad.
Yeah, we're lucky to retain Donovan. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a better goalkeeper coach in all of USL or even MLS for that matter. Donovan did a great job in a tough situation, so it was important for us to keep Donovan on board. And then we added 2 other high-quality assistants, and we're really excited about the staff that Blair's put together.
Sam Doerr, our president of FC Tulsa. Okay, what's going on in the off-season now? And we're always trying to promote the tickets, of course, as always.
Yeah, well, obviously there's a lot going on. Season tickets are on sale as we speak, fctulsa.com. You can get all of that info. Next year we haven't announced this yet, but we're going to experiment with Friday night games. So usually we've been Wednesday or Saturdays. I've had a lot of success with Friday night games in my past, and so we're going to do that. I think we'll have 4 of them next season. Season starts March 11th next year. Looking at around a March 25th home opener. So excited about that. We'll be in the Eastern Conference again next year, which I think is great. So busy off season, obviously signing players. We've announced 1 returning player. I think we'll have a good core of returning players. But anytime,
the captain's coming back.
Captain Bradley obviously played at TU, has been a staple for us, but he agreed to a multi-year. So we'll have a good core coming back. But anytime you don't make the playoffs, you need to refresh the roster, and we're really excited about some of the new pieces that we have coming to town.
And see, also you tied up with a new ticketing group or something to kind of enhance fans' experience, which has been very successful around the league.
Yeah, so SeatGeek is our new ticketing provider. Obviously, we think that's an upgrade over tickets.com, who we currently have. SeatGeek is up there with Ticketmaster, just brings a professional experience. They have a ton of EPL clubs, Manchester City, a lot of clubs in our league. I think they have almost every MLS club. So excited for our fans to be able to use SeatGeek next year.
And beginning November the 20th, it's the world's biggest sporting event, of course, the World Cup Soccer in Qatar. talk about the setting for that there, and it's been controversial from the very start. It's going to be quite a tournament, sounds like.
Yeah, I think it's it's great for us because it's in our off season, and I think it's great for MLS. It works with the North American soccer calendar.
Right, yeah.
It doesn't quite work as well with the European. They're having to take a break from their leagues,
Yeah.
but it's to have it around the holidays. I think ratings in the U.S. are going to be through the roof. First off, we haven't been in a World Cup in 8 years, and then
Yes.
secondly, I just think around the holidays, more people are home, they're watching, they're in tune. So I think for the sport in America, it's going to be great. Then of course the next one is going to be here in the States,
Yes.
and so I think it's a really exciting time, for soccer in this country, and excited to see how it goes down.
World Cup kicks off November 20th. It goes through December the 18th. 32 nations, hosted by Qatar, United Arab Emirates. 8 venues will be used for that. And the Team USA, as I mentioned, missed the tournament last time around in 2018. Back in it now, but already people attacking this team and attacking the head coach, Greg Berhalter.
Yeah, I think obviously the 2 friendlies most recently were not inspiring at all, right? And
Yeah.
so I think the biggest match for the U.S. is going to be the first one, which is against Wales. I think if
Right.
they can get 3 points there, they will look good to advance out of the group. If they don't, it's going to be a tall task. So we'll have a lot of questions answered, I think, that first group stage game against Wales.
That's November 21st. Wales, by the way, is seeded number 19. Then they'll face 5th seeded England, then number 22 Iran. And toughest of all the 8 groups, though, by ranking, is the one the U.S. is in.
Is that true? I didn't know that.
It
You
is.
taught me something.
Yeah, golly. So it's going to be quite a challenge for them there. How about the soccer powers? Who are they expecting to be favored for the World Cup?
Yeah, I think you're in good shape if you take Brazil or Argentina. So
Doesn't change much, huh?
No, they are the heavy favorites, and I think England suffered a lot of injuries, and so I'd say you're in good shape if you take Brazil or Argentina.
Well, great to have you with us, Sam. We hope to next week maybe get the coach here to talk more about
great.
World Cup and stuff too.
Yes.
So appreciate you being here. We have something for you too. I can find all my stuff here. I have a gift certificate to. Thank you, Becky.
There we go. Here we go. It flies in.
There it is.
Appreciate it.
Billy Sims BBQ.
Thanks so much.
Sam,
Appreciate you having
thanks
us.
for your support too. Always appreciate it, guys.
Yes, of course.
Right back with more Oklahoma sports scene after we have some barbecue. Stay with us.
The 2022 Remington Park Thoroughbred season continues through December 17th. Racing starts at 7 p.m. Normal weekly schedule is Wednesday through Saturday. The Springboard Mile, Remington Park's top 2-year-old race that carries Kentucky Derby qualifying points, wraps the season up on December 17th. For more information on Remington Park racing and casino gaming, visit remingtonpark.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Caleb Nelly with Tulsa Bone & Joint in Owasso.
And I'm Dr. Ian Goodman with Tulsa Bone & Joint in Owasso, and we are your team physicians for the Owasso Rams.
I'm Zach McGinty.
I'm Kate Grady.
I'm Dexter Millsap.
And we are the athletic trainers for the Owasso Rams.
Here's some of the services that we provide in the Tulsa Bone & Joint Athletic Training Facility.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine-in, curbside, or carry-out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
The Tulsa Oilers are back on the ice. With a new owner, a new look, and a new attitude. Save big on season tickets today, 2022-23 season. Tickets starting as low as $17 per month. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers are back.
The 39th Breeders' Cup World Championships run this past weekend. Keeneland Racecourse, Lexington, Kentucky, over 2 days. 14 races worth more than $31 million. Randy Moss was the NBC analyst. He joined us by Zoom call earlier today. So the climax of the entire event was the Breeders' Cup Classic, $6 million race with the big favorite, the undefeated, unchallenged Flight Line. Big odds-on choice there, and he looked just like the champion everyone knows he is. Won by 8 1/4 lengths, another dominating performance. But Randy, I asked you, what did you think about his performance? And how do you compare like everybody else's to the great legend, Secretariat.
He's a special horse, isn't he, Chris? I mean, we knew that going into the Classic. He was obviously the most eagerly anticipated horse during the 2-day period. And he obviously didn't let anybody down. As far as Secretariat, I think he deserves, Flightline deserves to be considered as one of the greatest horses of all time. And I've got no problem with, at least, as I think I said on the air, at least putting him into the conversation of those horses that we've seen over the last half century. As far as saying that he's as good or better than Secretariat, I think it requires a little bit of context. I mean, first of all, it's almost impossible to compare horses 50 years apart. Right. So much has changed in the sport. The way horses are campaigned, so many other things. The data, you can't really analyze it specifically enough with that much time passed to really give a good comparison. Secretariat was the horse of the year at age 2. He competed in the Triple Crown, swept the Triple Crown, set track records in all 3 races, set a record in the Belmont, lengths and time that has still never been broken and probably won't be. Went on to compete all year long and was not only the horse of the year and champion older horse at age 3, he was also the champion turf horse at age 3, having ended his career with a couple of big races on grass. His depth of accomplishment, I think, is far deeper, obviously, than you can say about Flightline, with just 6 career races for Flightline. Could Flightline have beaten Secretariat on some of those days that Secretariat ran? I mean, he lost 5 races. Yeah, he lost Secretariat, lost twice after he swept the Belmont. Probably so. Yeah. But can I say that Flightline was as good or better than Secretariat? I don't think I would be willing to go that far off of a 6-race career. But boy, was he brilliant in those 6 races.
And we got the word today that he is done racing. He's been retired to Lanes End Farm. You were talking about that on the telecast. The money just doesn't add up. And he's going to stand for what, $40-50 million?
Yeah, no surprise there. When you look at the economics of the sport, yeah. I didn't say it on the air, but just for fun with friends, I constructed what would be a fantasy year for Flightline in 2023 that no horse could ever possibly accomplish, right? I mean, starting with winning the Pegasus World Cup and then winning the Saudi Cup and then winning the Dubai World Cup and then coming back to the US and winning the Whitney and then going back out and winning the Pacific Classic and then detouring to France to win the Arc de Triomphe and then coming back to America to win the Breeders' Cup Classic and then going to Japan to win the Japan Cup. Right? That covers every top purse around the world. And it would get him 30 million, which is about 10 million less than he could make for, possibly for standing at stud. So it doesn't make sense. And we knew it was going to happen, especially once the horse won the Breeders' Cup Classic the way he won it, Chris, and they're all in the winner's circle. If they had intended to run him next year, they would have known it, and that would have been the perfect time to announce that to the world. Conversely, if they intended to retire him, they weren't going to say it in the winner's circle because they didn't want to detract from the celebration of the moment. So I knew right away when it wasn't said in the winner's circle that was the last time we'd ever see him on the track.
I like your fantasy of seeing him race in 23. That would be something amazing. Any final thoughts, Randy, on the Breeders' Cup World Championships wrapping up the year?
There's so many amazing stories. I mean, what a fantastic Breeders' Cup, right? Not just Flightline, but the European dominance. They've now won 10 of the last 11 grass races at Keeneland during Breeders' Cups. And they won, I think it was 6 of the 7 this past weekend. So the Europeans were clicking on all cylinders. An amazing Breeders' Cup for Ryan Moore, an amazing Breeders' Cup for Irad Ortiz. If there's any doubt who the top rider in America is, I think that's been completely erased. Cody's Wish, winning the Dirt Mile, such an emotional race for Cody Dorman. Tears being shed all around the country, watching, including on the set, watching that particular race. So, and I could go a lot further than that, talking about all the performances and all the people involved. It was just a fantastic 2 days of racing.
So Fight Lion's career is over. Now he'll just make babies the rest of his life at about $40 to $50 million a year in stallion fees. 2 thoroughbreds from Remington Park were also in the Breeders' Cup racing program, and Dale Day has a recap from the racetrack.
The Breeders' Cup World Championships at Keeneland in Lexington, Kentucky featured the world's best on November 4th and November 5th. On Breeders' Cup Saturday, a couple of runners with major wins at Remington Park did their best to carry the local flag. The $1 million Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile included Senor Buscador, the 2020 winner of the Springboard Mile at Remington Park. The late-running colt also broke his maiden status in Oklahoma City. The 4-year-old was number 10 in the Dirt Mile.
Quarter mile to go. Cody's Wish keeps moving to the outside. Gunite has the lead. Pipeline's dropping back through the field. It is Gunite with the advantage off the turn to Cody's Wish. Cyberknife between that pair. Slow down Andy is in fourth. Cyberknife, Cody's Wish, and Cody's Wish has a narrow lead. Cyberknife is right there to the inside. Slow down Andy coming late from third. Cyberknife fighting back. Cody's Wish right alongside. Down to the wire. Cody's Wish.
Senor Buscador broke slowly, tried to save ground, then tried to make a late kick. That late kick just was not there. He did have a rally back in early October at Churchill Downs, winning the Grade 3 AC handicap. That is what put him into the Dirt Mile for Breeders' Cup Day. But under Francisco Arrieta, the Todd Fincher trainee, Senor Buscador just didn't fire in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. The winner, number 7, Cody's Wish, was back with Senor Buscador early in the race. He did fire and went on to win, paying $6.32 for the win under jockey Junior Alvarado. Second was number 9, Cyberknife. Flash of Mischief, winner of the David Vance Sprint this season on the Oklahoma Derby undercard, was given his chance to shine in the Breeders' Cup Sprint by current leading trainer at Remington Park, Carl Broberg. A long shot on the morning line at 30-1 odds, leading Remington Park jockey Christian Torres had the ride. Flash of Mischief is number 11.
And they're off in the Qatar Racing Breeders' Cup Sprint. Flash of Mischief comes out for the lead. Super Ocho a step quicker though, and there's Jackie's Warrior. Jackie's Warrior and Super Ocho come to the front together. Flash of Mischief settles back toward the outside in third position. Willie Boy, center of the track, moves up from fourth. CZ Rocket slips down toward the inside in fifth, running 3 lengths off the lead. Gap of 2, American Theorem is toward the rail in sixth. Elite Power goes seventh. Kamari is eighth. Manny Wah is in ninth around the far turn. Aloha West is 10th. Obesos last of the 11, 22.12 seconds the time for the opening quarter. Super Ocho, a 2-length lead. Jackie's Warrior goes second by 3 lengths around the turn. Willie Boy, CZ Rocket to the inside. Flash of Mischief between that pair. Elite Power is still 8 lengths from the lead. They turn for home. Super Ocho with the lead. CZ Rocket to the inside. Jackie's Warrior to the outside. Elite Power has to go toward the center of the racetrack, but still fourth. Super Ocho, Jackie's Warrior, CZ Rocket. Manny Wah runs toward the rail. Elite Power from the outside. CZ Rocket, Elite Power coming on. Elite Power by Ryan Ortiz Jr. to win the Qatar Racing Breeders' Cup Sprint by 2 lengths on the line.
Flash of Mischief, breaking from the outside post position, had a decent start to try to get position and sat just off the early leaders until midway through the turn. Tried to make a bid, but just flattened out in the final quarter mile, finishing up the track. The winner, Elite Power, actually was farther back than Flash of Mischief in the turn and made a big closing move, the closing move that Flash of Mischief and Connections had hoped would happen. Elite Power, ridden by Rod Ortiz, your winner, and paying very well, more than $13 for the win. CZ Rocket, number 8, was second. The big upset in the sprint, number 9, Jackie's Warrior, the heavy favorite, was defeated, finishing third. The Remington Park racing schedule changes for 3 weeks in November to add Monday and Tuesday afternoon action. Through Thanksgiving weekend, the live racing schedule is Monday and Tuesday at 2:30 p.m., then Friday and Saturday at 7:07 p.m. Central. At Remington Park in Oklahoma City, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sportscene.
And I'll be right back after this final break with my Lincoln's 2 cents worth. It's about $75 million worth, actually. That's straight ahead.
The 2022 Remington Park Thoroughbred season continues through December 17th. Racing starts at 7 p.m. Normal weekly schedule is Wednesday through Saturday. The Springboard Mile, Remington Park's top 2-year-old race that carries Kentucky Derby qualifying points, wraps the season up on December 17th. For more information on Remington Park racing and casino gaming, visit remingtonpark.com.
You did it, Tulsa. You name the team. We name the team. You name the team. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m., BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com to get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast pace, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
What happens when Rumble of the Oklahoma City Thunder takes on the two fellas and a big vehicle team on the court? They should leave it to a professional. And when it comes to moving the Thunder and all of Rumble's stuff, he should leave it to the professionals.
We got this. Let the pros from two fellas take it from here.
Now it's time for my commentary. We call it Lincoln's 2 cents worth. This past week, I was in Lexington, Kentucky. The Breeders' Cup to accept a very special honor, the Jim McKay Award for Broadcasting. Among the other honorees at this banquet was a furniture salesman from Houston, Texas, named Jim McInville, better known to the sporting world as Mattress Mac. He received an award for recognizing his spirit and his support of thoroughbred racing. But Mac couldn't make it to the awards banquet. He was in a fight with the Philadelphia Phillies fans in Philadelphia while he was supporting his beloved Houston Astros in the World Series. But McInville had a very, very good weekend. Not only did his Astros win the World Series, but Mattress Mac, famous for his massive sports bets, also for his massive philanthropy, he was the guy that opened up all of his gallery furniture stores for all those displaced by the hurricane that hit Houston a couple years ago. He also bet $10 million on the Houston Astros to win the World Series at 7.5 to 1. The return, $75 million. That is believed to be the biggest payoff in the history of all sports betting. But in typical Mattress Mac fashion, he made a side bet that the Astros would win the game, but also any customers who purchased a high-end mattress, $3,000 plus, would receive that mattress free. He'd return all their money that they paid for the mattress if the Astros won the World Series. Last Saturday night, before Game 6 of the World Series, it was Mattress Mac on the mound, asked to throw out the first pitch for Game 6, the game the Houston Astros clinched the World Series championship. And Mac said that for him was priceless. That's my 2 cents worth. Not $75 million worth, but at least 2 cents. Take a look ahead now, coming up on Oklahoma Sports Scene. I want to remind you of a couple of things. First, at the Cherokee Hard Rock Casino, November is their big month, $250,000 thank you T-Town promotion. Every Friday and Saturday this month can be one of 24 big winners for $110,000 in cash, plus prizes from local businesses. Drawings are at 7, 10, 11 p.m. for $10,000 each. And next Hard Rock Live features the legendary Goo Goo Dolls. That's coming up Saturday, November the 12th. Then 38 Specialists at the Hard Rock. That concert on Wednesday, the 16th of November. Get your tickets now, of course, at hardrockcasinotulsa.com. That's why the Hard Rock is #1 rated casino again in Tulsa, as always. Coming up next week on Oklahoma Sports Scene, one of the world's greatest sporting events, the World Cup. We'll have a big preview for you with FC Tulsa head coach Blair Gavin. Some special information about the World Cup, how the FC Tulsa group is going to be celebrating the World Cup as well. Hope to have the doctor on, or our friends at Tulsa Bone and Joint, talk about more sports injuries. Some other specials also coming up next week. Next week, all on Oklahoma Sports Scene, across the state, on Cox Channel 3, Yearview Channel 3, Wednesdays, Fridays, 10:30, Saturday at 11 p.m. And of course, always on YouTube. Just look at Oklahoma Sports Scene to find us anywhere there. Thanks for joining us. Have a great sports week.